Speaking to large groups of people can sometimes be a little bit unnerving, so I'm going to share with you 5 tips on how to speak with a little bit more confidence and authority. Let's get started. It's no secret that as outdoor activity instructors, we end up speaking to lots of groups of people all the time. That is just part of our job. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some tips about body language, tone of voice, and little ways that can help with group control to make our lives easier. Hi, my name is Noel. I've been an outdoor activity instructor for over a decade now. Welcome to Instructor 101. If this is your first time here, then make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on other future content. Also, feel free to check out my other resources on Facebook and Instagram. Number 1. Body language. So a huge part of the way that humans communicate is through body language. So making sure that your body language matches what you're trying to communicate is a huge factor. So if you want to show confidence, then stand tall, move slowly, confidently, in a considered way, and it will communicate the confidence that you want to put across. If you're running around, flapping, being all frantic, then what's going to happen is it might communicate that you're being insecure, you've got other stuff on your mind, and you're not necessarily thinking about the clients or the situation as much as you might need to. So if you think about the example of a waiter at a restaurant, if you're sat down having a meal, you call over the waiter, but you can see they're looking in the direction of the kitchen and they're rushing around a lot. You ask them, "Oh, would you mind coming over in a moment?" And say, "Yeah, sir, I'll be right with you." You're not going to believe them because you see they're rushing off and their priorities are elsewhere. I wouldn't believe in that situation because their body language is communicating something different. One other strategy that you could put in place for body language is if you do like flail your arms around a lot to express yourself, I know I certainly do, what you can do is hold something. And that is a good strategy to keep your hands all together. So whether it's a cup or a clipboard or whatever it might be, then it slows everything down a little bit in terms of your gestures. So another strategy that might help you out. Number 2, tone. So a bit like body language, if you can show that you can control what you're saying, then it's going to help you out. So the tone of voice, if you're trying to keep it interesting, then you're not going to be monotone, but also you need to find a balance between what is controlled and what's really erratic. One of the things that I see a lot of new instructors doing is that if they're trying to get attention, they'll start trying to be louder, but what they end up doing is they start to lose control because they're getting really high pitched to try and get everyone's attention. Instead, what would actually be really helpful, if it's possible, is to try and almost deepen their voice, and that'll help out and still be able to project the volume that they require. And by being more slow and considered with how you're speaking, what you'll end up doing is means you're less likely to stumble and trip over the words and what you're trying to communicate, which is going to help you out, and the group are going to have more confidence in what you're saying. Number 3, pause. When you're speaking, don't be afraid to pause midway through a sentence. Really let the air creep in. Now, this sounds a little bit far-fetched and maybe a little bit weird, but again, it shows confidence. Sometimes people find it a little bit unnerving and have to fill those spaces of silence. Letting air creep in really grabs people's attention. Now, admittedly, as you can see in that example, it was quite forced, but if you are taking your time, it does make a difference and really captures people's attention. And again, it's what great storytellers do. If you ever like at a bar, like I know a friend of mine, he ends up, whenever he tells a story, he's like halfway through a sentence and then he takes a drink and I'm just stood there just going, "And what happened next? What happened next?" Even if it's just instructions, it will grab people's attention, and that's what we're trying to do. Number 4, speak with authority. By speaking with authority, it is speaking, not shouting at people. That is not how to demonstrate authority. If you're losing control of your emotions, like I've said in other videos, you're going to lose control of the group. Now, some people might be thinking, "But I don't have any authority." Well, you do. You're the instructor. You have been trained to manage that session. You've also been trained in how to look after that group, all the safety equipment. You know what you're doing. It is your job to make sure that people are safe. And because of that, you have that authority to be able to make certain decisions that are going to help ensure that. Now, admittedly, that comes with practice, time, and experience. But that doesn't change the fact that you do have more knowledge than the group that you're working with. So don't be afraid to be able to make those decisions and talk to people with that extra knowledge, because you do have that knowledge. So use it. Tip number 5, don't waste your breath. So there are loads of ways of being able to get a group's attention. Whichever way that you choose though, it doesn't really matter. Make sure that you have everyone's attention before you start speaking. Otherwise, what's the point? It's about showing that you're happy to be in charge and you're comfortable with waiting. So that's one way of helping assert yourself and getting that extra group control. But that aside, if you don't have their attention, then what's the point in speaking anyway? You're only going to have to repeat yourself later, or they're going to be next to the person that they're clearly more focused on and going, oh, what do we do? Take some time, wait, make sure that everyone's got their focus, and then start speaking. If someone starts speaking halfway through you talking, pause, take a moment. That's absolutely fine. Again, it's about making sure that you can communicate clearly to the whole group. Bonus tip. If you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. So the last tip that I am going to give as a bonus, because that's what YouTubers do apparently, and that's a good thing, is think about where you're positioned. So think about, is the sun directly behind you? So that way the sun's in everyone's eyes and you just like appear like a silhouette or a shadow. Then think about positioning yourself so the sun's in your eyes instead, if that's what's appropriate, or go to somewhere where there's a bit more shelter. Other thing you could think about is if you're a bit shorter, or if there's like a huge mass of people, then a great way to get people's attention is to stand on top of something so you are physically above where people are. That way they can see you easier as well. And there's a bit of a power play going on psychologically, because if you're higher up, then that plays with people's heads a little bit and it makes it easier for people to follow your instructions. So yeah, that's my bonus tip. Also, while I'm on a roll, another strategy that you can do is actually start whispering. If you get people to gather in a little bit closer, huddle around like it's a little bit of a secret, people kind of want to get involved because they don't want to miss out. So if you start whispering as well, make sure you try and keep your voice low rather than high pitched. It helps communicate that a little bit better. Cheers. So those were my 5 tips on how to speak to groups with a bit more confidence and authority. I've been really self-conscious about this one because I can't help but feel like even with those tips, the way that I'm speaking to the camera, I'm probably breaking a few of my rules. If that's the case, let me know. I'm scared about this one. But yeah, let me know. And also, what other tips and strategies would you include in those tips? Let me know in the comments down below. If this video is useful, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on other future content. Also, feel free to head over to Instagram and Facebook for other resources. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you found this useful. And until next time, take care.